Hey there, welcome to my channel Chai and Chapters. Another year has gone by, and here I am with my top 10 reads of 2024. So, these are the books that I read last year and not necessarily ones that were published in 2024. But hey, a good book is a good book, right? So, let's jump right in. Coming in at number 10 is The Do-Over by Lynn Painter. I don't read a lot of YA romances, but this one just hit the spot. I think it just came to me at the right time because I was looking for something light-hearted but at the same time with some kind of depth. And this was a delightful time loop story where Emily just cannot seem to make her Valentine's work, and she wants to spend the perfect Valentine's Day with her boyfriend Josh, but she keeps running into this guy named Nick, and from there on her Valentine's Day just turns into chaos. So if you're into a light-hearted time loop Valentine's vibe book, this one is for you. If you want to read a detailed review of the book, I will leave a link down in my description box so that you can find it there. Coming in at number 9, we have Lock Every Door by Riley Sager. Now, this one had me hooked. From the beginning, we follow Jules, who lands an apartment sitting gig in this ancient posh building called the Bartholomew, and it was atmospheric and there was this sinister tone to it, and I really enjoyed it. And yeah, that's how it made it to this list. If you love an atmospheric thriller that just keeps you guessing until the end, this definitely should be your pick. And at number 8, I have a holiday read, which is Kiss Me at Christmas by Jenny Bayliss. Now, I don't see a lot of people talking about this book, but I went into it with minimal expectations. Maybe that's why I just ended up loving it a lot. It's a heartwarming story about community, self-love, and a touch of romance. So if you're looking for a cozy holiday vibe book where people from all walks of life come together despite their differences, Kiss Me at Christmas is your pick. Okay, I don't think I'm making it very neat and tidy. I have very little crafting skills, but I love doing this, and I think I will learn as I work on it. Okay, so don't worry about the straight lines. I mean, I'm not worrying about it. I am asking you not to worry about it either. Let's move to the next one. I'm sure you'll be surprised why this book is at number 7, if I reveal the name right now. And that is Funny Story by Emily Henry. Do I need to talk about what this book is about? Because this book is clearly the winner of Goodreads Choice Award. Then why did it make at number 7 in my list? I have read most of the adult romances that Emily Henry writes, except for Happy Place, which is like forever on my TBR. So saving Happy Place, I have read all of her other books, and the reason why this made at number 7 is just because this didn't top my favorite Emily Henry romance list. So I have Beach Read and Book Lovers, both about this one. So if I rate all Emily Henry books except for Happy Place, this one comes at a 3. The first would be I think Book Lovers, then Beach Read, and then Funny Story. It was still beautiful book, beautiful writing, and it has all those elements that you expect from an Emily Henry love story, and I enjoyed it. It was just it had one of my favorite quotes of the year, and I just loved the book, and I will definitely reread it at some point. But yeah, compared to other Emily Henry books, it didn't top. It wasn't like a 5-star book that topped the other ones. That's the only reason this book is at 7, and I think I need to explain that because it's actually a good romance, one of the best romances that I've read this year. Again, at number 6 is another unpopular opinion, I guess, because this time I have One of the Good Guys by Araminta Hall. So I guess this is another unpopular opinion because I've seen mixed reviews of this book in Goodreads, but oh my god, it just gets worse and worse, isn't it? You know what? My goal is to get that aesthetic look that the whole reading journal community gets, but I think I'm making it worse. But like I said, I will continue doing this and somehow I will learn to get them all in a straight line. Right now, I'm just focusing on doing this because I love doing this, and I'm trying to make all this content into a file so that I can look back at my content and do a flip through at the end of the year. So let's see what kind of progress I make throughout the year. I'm sticking to this. Okay, this year I told myself that I am sticking to my YouTube journey, so let's see how that goes. Anyway, back to the point. So One of the Good Guys is a thriller book, and I think people went into it expecting more of a mystery thriller, and it ended up being a social commentary. And do I agree with everything that the book says or does? Not exactly. There are many things that I would oppose in a general context, but still, I think the debate that it raises is quite relevant in today's world, and it's a bold attempt, and I appreciate that. So it's not exactly a 5-star read. By the way, I'm not talking about my ratings, because if you want to see my immediate rating, you can just visit my blog. I will leave the links to all these books, and you can just visit my reviews to know the rating. But I think I just went back to my Goodreads account and checked which books stayed in my mind after the year, at the end of the year. So I think those are the ones that deserve to be on the list, rather than the books that I just rated 5 out of 5, because book reviews are usually subjective. So you might not be in the mood for a great book at some time, and when you pick up that book during that time, for some reason you end up giving it a low rating. That happens. We are all humans, so I try to be objective in my reviews as much as possible. But I think at the end of the day, when you look back, the books that stayed with you have made the most impact, and so that's the way I'm arranging my top 10 list. So yeah, One of the Good Guys, I read it early in 2024, and it still had an impact in my mind. So that's why this made the list. So the next one is Cackle by Rachel Harrison. I know it didn't come out in 2024, but I've been hearing good things about this book for a while now. And I started reading it when I was about to hit a reading slump. But instead of falling into a slump, I actually ended up loving this book, and I went on a spree of reading witchy books during October. Oops. Okay, is it getting better? No. Then I'm adjusting it. So, yeah. If you don't know about Cackle by Rachel Harrison, it is a whimsical, eerie story that explores female friendship, and again the idea of self-care, self-love, and all those things. So I love that theme, and I think most of the books that I have picked this year has that underlying theme. Even Lock Every Door, I guess. If you have read it, you know. So that is the general theme, I think. And I love books about that. I think that I am having an epiphany right now. Anyway, the female friendship in this book was weird. Okay, before we go any further, I would suggest, if you're reading One of the Good Guys, go into it without reading any reviews or any of the synopsis, because the impact that will have on you without knowing anything is the purest form of enjoyment that you can get from this book. And the same goes for Cackle's book, because I didn't even read the proper description. I've listened to or watched many booktube reviews, positive ones for Cackle, but it was like I said, it came a while ago, and it wasn't exactly registered on my mind. So I went into it blind, both of these books. And I think that could be one of the reasons why they made it to the list, because I was taken in by surprise and I enjoyed it basically. So we are halfway through our list now, and at number 3, I'm so glad when books like this make it to my list, because this one was an NetGalley e-arc. At number 4 is Perfectly Wicked by Lindsay Lois. Like I said, after Cackle, I went on a spree reading many witchy books, and this one was an e-arc that I got from NetGalley, and I love this book. I usually love books that flip the world building on itself, like suppose you have a genre where say for Twilight, so put a pitchbox down, but I like Twilight for what it stands for. I know most people think Twilight is just this sappy romance, but there are elements to it. If you have read New Moon, you know that that's my favorite. And I think even Robert Pattinson once told that New Moon was his favorite book of the series, much earlier, when he didn't openly express his hate in so many words for the books. Anyway, during that time, he actually told that New Moon was his favorite book, and in some ways, I think New Moon has one of my favorite parts of the whole series, where this conversation about good and evil takes place between Carlisle and Bella, and there they explain why they are the way they are. So I think that was my favorite part of Twilight, because vampires are supposed to be a certain group things, they're supposed to have obviously not glittery and all, but they're supposed to be creatures of the dark, representing darkness and evil, and Twilight just flipped it over. It was about a bunch of vampires who wanted to be good, who wanted to do good despite who they were, despite who they have become. So I think on that regard, I would put Perfectly Wicked into the same category. Not that it has glittering vampires or even glittering witches for that matter, but it is a very steamy romance, a hate to love romance, if you would. Anyway, beyond that, it has the same trope of, choosing not to be evil because you are born that way or something like that. So for that reason, I loved this book, and it was a long book, but it was fast paced, and I actually enjoyed it. So it's a hate to love witchy romance set in an apple orchard, and it has the eerie atmosphere and the steamy romance, all those things that you read in an October witchy book. And like I said, when a book challenges its own world building norms, I end up liking it a lot. So that's why I picked this one, almost the top of my list. Although in this page it looks like it's the bottom of my list, but they say this is number 4, so it's top of my list. I think I should have planned it like this. Okay, I'm going to stop fussing about the overall prettiness of my list. God, this is so not how I wanted it. I should have made squares with my pencil or something, so that it doesn't look too awkward. How do the journal people do this? Oh, anyway, moving on. At number 3, we have again a romance. If you can't tell this or tell by this, I mostly read romance and thrillers, and that shows, I guess. At number 3, we have The Soulmate Equation by Christina Lauren. So again, this book was something that came to me at the right time, because you want to pick a book that is different, even if you're reading the same genre. And romance books usually have a set format of, this is what we're doing, especially when these days when publishing is generally trope based. So this one is also having all those cliches, but it is still refreshing because of the whole science fiction element. I call it science fiction because it had a lot of statistics and maths elements to it, and I enjoyed it. As a science graduate, I always enjoy those things. I guess I'm a nerd. And I love the chemistry between Jess and River. I think they have become one of those fictional couples that I will always root for. So the romance, the plot, the ensemble cast, it was all so memorable. That's why it made it to my list. I think I rated it a 4, and okay, I said I won't talk about my rating, so I'm not talking. Many of these books are not five stars. I remember some of them are, but not all of them. Moving on, I think we're nearing the end of our list. At number 2, we have A Good Girl's Guide to Murder by Holly Jackson, a YA thriller. And like I said, I don't read a lot of YA, and yet 2 of them have made my top 10 list. I only read it because the Netflix series was coming up, and I'm so glad I read the book, because the series was nowhere near close to the book, even though it was made by the same creator, I guess. But like I said, the book, this is the rating for the books, and I really enjoyed the book. Pip's journey as a teenager, who is acting as a detective, as far as this case that she was following was concerned, and her discovering how the lines of good and bad are kind of blurred and everything is not black and white. That journey was what I enjoyed the most, and it was a journey of character arc, character growth, and of course, with YA, I usually complain that the adults don't really have a prominent role. But in this one, there was the other adults were present, although they have taken a backseat. I guess that's the point of YA. But as I think I'm in my 30s, so as I grow older, I look at the adults and I think, what are they doing? So that's one of the main things why I drifted away from YA. Anyway, I enjoyed this book. It was my favorite YA thriller after Sadie, and I loved Sadie. Both of them I listen to audio, and I usually don't talk about which format I consume content, and there are several reasons for that. I mostly read ebooks because that is easily available to me in my country, and it's affordable. But I have added to my physical collection, the Soul Medication. I have the physical copy. This one I borrowed from my sister. Anyway, but A Good Girl's Guide to Murder, I listened to audio. So the last time I enjoyed a thriller so much when I listened to audio was Sadie, because they both have this podcast elements, and this one also had a lot of interviews and things like that. So yeah, and podcasts too, right? She runs podcasts. So yes, so that's why I compared both, and that's why I mentioned which format I consume. Okay, so why I don't mention which books I listen to and which books I read is because I am from India, and I really don't know if someone's accent is good or bad. Usually that's what I hear when audiobook reviews are made, whether the voice suited. I really don't care about all the stuff. I care about the format in which the story is presented, and I really don't judge voices of artists who are performing, because voice dubbing is really tough, I guess. And I think I'm more used to, the face and the audio being not gelling as much as I want to, because we are used to playback singers a lot in here. So I think I don't give a lot of info. Yeah, it's part of the story, and I enjoy it when the audio enhances the overall story, like in Good Girl's Guide to Murder or Sadie, because and I think none of this is true by Lisa Joel. Oh my god, I didn't put that book in this list. Didn't I read it this year? Oh. Okay, that's a special mention then, because none of this is true. Oh my god, I didn't put it in this list. Oh, wow. Anyhow, okay, now that's not number 1, but that was a good book too. So that was a good audio book to listen to. So, okay, so now if you're wondering why I said 10 and I've only mentioned 9 books, and the list is almost complete in a very disarrayed manner. If you have watched my previous video, my planner video, I mentioned a notebook called Book of the Year. And yeah, my little notebook is sitting next to me very quietly, waiting its turn, because that is Book of the Year. And so we're going to present the number 1 book of the year, and let's make space for that, shall we? Alright, so bring in the drum rolls because we have the number one book of the year. And as you can see, I've already written it because I just have to put the sticker in here. I told you this was going to be a scrapbook and it was a gift from my co-workers. I'm just repeating in case you didn't watch the previous video. So I decorated the book. I made it book of the year. I think I wrote it in the first page. Yes, this one. Here's a note, so I'm hiding the note and the names. So this is what I'm planning to do with it. And here we go. The number one book of the year is a romance. Does that surprise you anymore? I don't think so. But I love reading romance, and the number one book in my list is Love of My Afterlife by Kirsty Greenwood. And if you love the early 2000s, 90s rom-com, books like some Sophie Kinsella novels or Rebecca Bloomwood, for instance, this book is for you. So I cannot recommend this book enough. It has got everything: a flawed but lovable heroine, self-discovery, and all the rom-com words. So, like I said, if you are a fan of the late 90s, early 2000s rom-com, like The Holiday and all, you need this book in your life. And I will definitely reread it probably this year. It's just an uplifting love story, and I just loved it. So basically we followed Delphi, who died and went into the afterlife, but she gets a second chance only if she manages to kiss the love of her life. And if you think I have spoiled the book for you, Goodreads has a more elaborate synopsis. I would kindly request you not to read the synopsis. It's like movie trailers, Hollywood movie trailers these days. Synopsis just reveal too much. This is basically this woman coming back to Earth, and she has like this deadline before which she has to find the love of her life and kiss him, so that she can continue living on Earth, or if she's dead, really dead. So that's what this book is about, and it's the comedy of errors where she is chasing this guy and keeps missing him, and she is doing all kinds of funny antics, and on that journey she is rediscovering herself, and it has a great character arc. So it's a very good book. That let's just stop there because it's a romance. How much can I reveal, right? It's just, if you, like I said, if you love those vibes of rom-coms, the real good ones, then you would definitely love this. So yeah, there it is. Those are my top 10 books of the year 2024, and so like I said, I have certain reading goals for 2025, and I will come back with those in my next video. So if you have shared your top 10 anywhere on YouTube or a blog, Instagram, please leave the links below or just mention it in the comments. I would love to see what your top 10 reads are, and yeah, I will see you in my next video. So until then, happy reading everyone, and don't forget to like, share and subscribe to the channel. So thank you for watching. Bye.